Today we're talking about this phone, the Oppo Reno15 Pro. Let's take a look at this Reno15 Pro. The first advantage is the overall appearance and texture of the device. It can be said that it has brought the Reno series back to its peak. The quad-curved screen, cold-carved glass backplate, aluminum alloy frame, high-gloss metal camera ring, and the internal coating processes all show that a lot of thought and cost went into it. Holding it in your hand, it naturally has a flagship feel and texture. Overall, as a high-volume model or series, the fact that this Reno is willing to use these flagship-level processes to create a phone with broader appeal is, in my opinion, worthy of praise. The second advantage I would personally give to the photography. While photography has always been a traditional strength of the Reno series, this time the improvements aren't just in the hardware. The hardware is very strong. The Reno15 Pro has a 200MP ultra-clear main camera, a 50MP periscope telephoto, and a 50MP ultra-wide-angle lens. More importantly, the software has a lot of creative features. This includes the live photos that can be shared in your social feed, flash CCD portraits, the ultra-wide front camera, and things of that nature. There are also some features that, let alone the iPhone, even the Find X9 series doesn't have. These features are exclusive to the Reno15 series. Of course, I don't know if these will be ported up to the Find X9 series later. I can say the results are excellent. Alright, after discussing the camera, let's finally take a brief look at the gaming and system experience of the Reno15 series. In terms of performance, the entire Reno15 series is equipped with the Dimensity 9450 processor. In our tests, the Reno15 Pro running Honor of Kings at maximum graphics plus ultra-high frame rate was able to maintain a full 120.1 FPS over 30 minutes with an average power consumption of 4.3 W. When you play well, you naturally want to show it off. The Reno15 series in-game live photos and 30-second one-tap rewind feature have also been upgraded from 720p to 1080p high-definition quality. Alright, after talking about the three pros, let's talk about the two cons. The first drawback is the age-old topic of value for money. Price to performance is truly the pain point, and for the processor in a Pro model to be at a standstill compared to the previous generation is a bit hard to justify, even if you just rebrand it. Moreover, this time its price point puts it in an awkward position. The Oppo Find X8s and X8 Plus can now be found on e-commerce platforms for around $550. That makes its price point somewhat awkward, especially since it's just a Reno series phone, right? It feels like its price is being undercut by its own company's previous generation flagships. This is what I find makes its price very awkward, which leads to its value proposition appearing very poor compared to the last-gen flagships. The second drawback is really in the finer details. It still has that offline phone feel. It's a bit stingy, you could say. For example, the phone's short-range fingerprint sensor, Z-axis linear motor, single-frequency GPS, and UFS 3.1 storage. These are areas where they still cut costs on some details. Okay, with the pros and cons summarized, let's talk about the Reno series itself. The predecessor to the Reno series was the R series. After being rebranded as the Reno series, it began to flourish both online and offline, marketed as a high-volume series. It wasn't without its highlight moments. When the Reno first launched, the Shark Fin pop-up edition was built like a flagship. Later, the Reno 5 came out with a Super Cup edition, the Reno 5 Plus Plus, which not only used a flagship Snapdragon 865 processor, but was also the first to feature the IMX 766 sensor. Then came the Reno 6 Plus Plus, which also used the Snapdragon 870 and flagship-level craftsmanship, especially that Detective Conan co-branded edition, which had an electrochromic backplate. Both its creativity and design were top tier. It's just that the Reno series later started a slow decline. The Reno 10, Reno 11, and Reno 12, for 3 consecutive generations, none of the models had metal frames. I think this might be due to constant adjustments in Oppo's corporate strategy, causing the Reno's positioning to fluctuate. Now, I'm very happy to see things like the metal frame, the quad-curved display, the cold-carved deco, and flagship-level coating processes, these very texture-enhancing elements, return to the Reno series. Because I believe that as Oppo's high-volume or sales driver series, the Reno needs to convey Oppo's advantages in workmanship and texture. This way, it can attract and retain users, and also better facilitate the transition of this user base to the higher-end Find series later. This generation of the Reno15 Pro has a flagship-level appearance, texture, and craftsmanship. While its performance isn't outstanding, it's definitely not holding it back. Plus, with ColorOS, a top-tier domestic system, this Reno 15 Pro is completely worth buying. The design in particular is excellent. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope this close look at the Reno 15 Pro covering its pros and cons has been helpful for your purchasing decision. If you found the content useful, remember to give it a like. We'll see you next time.